you may take over.
All right.
Today we're going to continue with our reading comprehension because I know that is our objective. And we're going to continue looking at more strategies for making sure that we become good comprehenders and can understand what we're reading. Can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Have you ever had to read a story or a paragraph and then answer questions on it? Looks like a lot of you have. Can you tell me how that made you feel? Like raise your hand and think about how that makes you feel. Does it make you feel scared? You know, it kind of makes me feel scared too. Because I don't know what to read for. Yeah. How does that make you feel? When you have to read paragraphs, answer questions. Okay, so she doesn't like to stop, answer the questions, and then continue reading. I know you have your hand up. You like it? Do you think it helps you? Yeah? I think answering questions after reading can help, but I don't think it's the best way to make sure that we're comprehending something, because you can kind of answer the questions without really understanding what you read, or not even reading at all, because you can go back and sometimes you can find the answer in the text, and then you just circle the little answer, and then you're finished, but you don't really know what's being read. So today I'm gonna model how to read, write, and talk about what you're reading, and also stopping, thinking, and reacting to what you're reading. So before we begin reading an article on girls' education, there is an organization that you guys need to be aware about before we read, so that when we read this article, it'll make sense, because we will have background knowledge.
Yep.
So this is called Meet UNICEF. UNICEF is the United Nations Children's Fund, is an organization that helps children in 158 countries and other territories. Every day, in some part of the world, UNICEF programs deliver food supplies, clean water, vaccines, and other things to protect people from diseases and to help children in school. So they also help with emergency relief. So they're really helpful in other parts of the country to help those in need. Can you turn and talk with your friends what you think about this program? Do you think it's a good one? Do you think it's beneficial? And then you'll share with me what you think about it before we start reading. So think about what you like about UNICEF. Yeah, you can start. All right, everyone, let's look back up here. Great. I'll take two people. Can you share me what you thought about this program, Trevion?
I think it's because
Okay, so he likes the fact that they can have food, because I think that if you're hungry, it's hard to learn. I know if I'm hungry, that's all I think about. So Trevion likes that they provide food. One more person to share what they think. What do you think? That's right. It helps people with their needs and what can help them have a better day at school. So we're going to start with reading this article, and while we read, I'm going to show you how I stop and how I react and think about the article to help me better understand it. This is called A Focus on Girls' Education. So, over 121 million children don't go to school. Almost 65 million of them are girls. Okay, the first thing I noticed is 121 million children do not go to school. That's a lot of students. So I'm going to say a lot of children do not go to school. And if you notice, I circled, but I also made a little note in my margin to help me remember why I circled what I circled. I also noted almost 65 million of them were girls. So over half of those students that are not going to school are girls. I don't think that's quite fair, because why are girls not going to school? So whenever I read, I can also question and have questions about the article. So I'm going to say, why are more girls going to not going to school? Oh, I have a fish on my elbow. Thank you. So that's the fact of the article, but thank you for letting me know. I'm going to continue reading, and as I read, also think of what you think about and react to what I'm reading. All children should have equal rights, but in many parts of the world, girls do not have the same rights as boys. In Bangladesh, one of the poorest countries in the world, many girls receive smaller portions of food than their brothers. In some nations, such as Bolivia, girls stay at home and care for their younger brothers, and they do household chores and work in fields. In India, some families send only their sons to the school. And schools in many African countries charge high prices, forcing poor families to choose which of their children will be educated. My reaction to this, as I stopped before I continue reading, was I noticed that it says Bangladesh is one of the poorest countries. So if they're poor, that may be a reason that girls have to get less food, because maybe they can't afford it. So I'm going to say, use my background knowledge and connect and say maybe because of poverty, they can't afford enough food for all of their children. So poverty. I didn't really know that there are a lot of other countries that still don't have equal rights for girls, because here in America, can you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down do you agree that girls and boys are kind of treated the same? We all go to school, we can all eat. I mean, when you're at home, if you have a brother or a sister, do you eat as much as they do? Or are you allowed to? Well, are you allowed to? Are you allowed to just eat kind of what you want to at dinner? No, no one is? But do you get full? Okay, so you get full. Some of these girls may not get full because their brothers have to eat. So I think that poverty can be a role in that. So we're going to continue reading this article, but I'm going to give you a few seconds and see how you guys can come to the carpet in just a minute. Make sure you get out a pencil. Can everyone get out a pencil? And along the wall there's some clipboards. You guys are all going to have the same copy of this article. And as I read, you're going to jot down some notes. So whenever you hear the music, you can get up and walk. I think you guys can do good. Well, let's walk each feet though. Make sure you don't overwork. Wow, very good. Alright, as we're finishing sitting down, Mr. Stolofson said if I thought you guys did a great job at coming to the carpet, I could give you guys a point. And I think you guys did. So you guys get a point for the students at being the teacher. Good job. Alright, for the first part, I'm going to read the next paragraph. I want you guys to be thinking as I read and listening, and think of ideas, what what comes to mind, or if you make connections, or if you have questions when I read this next paragraph. We are on the second paragraph. Working to get more girls into schools, UNICEF started the 25 by 2005 program. It hopes to increase the number of girls in the school in 25 countries by 2005. 15 of these countries, including Sudan and Chad, are in Africa, and 6, including Bangladesh and India, are in South Asia. Other countries include Bolivia and Turkey. UNICEF chose these nations because fewer girls and boys go to school in them, and because each of the countries has more than 1 million girls out of school. So I'm going to stop right there, because that was a good paragraph. Mark on your paper and on your side, on the margins, underline what you thought was interesting or what kind of shocked you, and then in a minute we'll turn and talk and see what your friends got as well. Yes. Is everybody clear about which paragraph we were looking in? No? Is everyone having some thoughts down on some papers? Some, can I see a thumbs up, thumbs out if you need some more time? You need some more time? I'll give you a few more seconds and then we can share. Because this is a practice, so if you don't really understand what to do, I can help you for the second paragraph. Some of you are having some thoughts on this article. Do you have a thought about it? Okay, write it on your paper. That'd be great to share. All right, everyone, stop. Put your pencils down and look at me. Who would like to share some of their thoughts? I know I walked around and I heard some really great ones. Yes. What do you think? What were you thinking about in this article? Can you sit up? Yes. Right, so she said it's not fair that over 1 million girls in some of these countries are not going to school. Because you know what that could mean? I'm making a connection. That could mean that I see a lot of girls in school today. If you weren't allowed to come to school, you wouldn't be in school, would you? See, when you think about it and connect it to your own life, you'd be like, hey, I don't really think that's fair. Does anyone else have something that they want to share? Yes. So you were all smaller in 2005, weren't you? So even though this was going on when you were younger, now you can read about it and learn about what other countries are, what's happening in other countries in education. Yes, Allison.
I circled that 1 million girls are out of school, and why not?
Okay, so he wants to know why they're not in school. That's a good question. So maybe if we continue reading, we'll kind of see why they're not in school. And one more, and then I will continue reading the second paragraph. Yes. So she underlined fewer girls and boys are going to school. So she also kind of agreed with Alejandro in the fact that why girls aren't going to school. Is that what you were asking? That's right. I agree. It's not really fair. So, all right, everyone sit up. We're going to continue reading the second paragraph, or the third paragraph. And it starts with in Bolivia. Can everyone find it on their page to make sure we're all together? In Bolivia, a mountainous South American country, many people live in rural areas where there are few schools. UNICEF is working to help build local schools so kids won't have to travel far. And to make schools more welcoming to girls, UNICEF is helping them clean and safe by building the bathrooms for boys and girls. So take a few minutes. I'll give you a few minutes to kind of do your thoughts on that paragraph. Yes. And Olivia. Finding some things to react to. We're going to continue. I'm going to read the last paragraph so you can continue listening, and then we'll make some more, and then we'll talk about both of these paragraphs in a minute. So everyone look at to teach. Thumbs up if you found it. To teach is the last one. I see 2 people on board. 3 people. Everyone find to teach? Oh, excellent.
More people.
Yes. To teach children and adults in Bangladesh that boys and girls have equal rights, UNICEF is using a popular cartoon character named Meena. Over 6.3 million school children read about her adventures or see her on television every day. Boys and girls can do the same thing, is the message of Meena. People are starting to listen and to pay attention to that simple message, and that is good news for everyone. Finish writing down your thoughts in that margin, and I'm going to call on a few people in a minute to share what they thought about that paragraph. Alright, I'll give you a few minutes to turn and talk with your friends to see what you guys have thought about on this article. Maybe some questions that you thought of, maybe a connection that you've made, or how it makes you feel. I know over here they're having some feelings that this article brought up. Sure. Sure, if you need some room and the margins aren't enough, you can make little notes on the back. That's fine. writing a sentence, that's fine. Finish up and then put your pencils down so I know you're done. Alright, I'm going to start asking some friends who raised their hand to share, tell me what they talked about in their groups. I heard some really good talking on going over here, so, trivia. What did you think about? Okay, so you're not understanding the article? Okay. Well, that's okay because we can still share it. Two people, if you guys, they're saying over here that they didn't really understand the article. It was because it was boring, so they didn't want to pay attention to it. So by talking with your peers, like some of your other friends that were understanding it, you could ask, hey, what did you find out? Because I don't understand what's going on. Or if you underline what you don't understand, then you can go back and ask, one of your friends, be like, I didn't understand this. Did you get it? Or what did you get out of this article? And by talking, your inner voice, you can hear it. And so when you talk, your inner voice comes out, and you can see your perspective, you can see what others, and maybe you'd be like, I did not even think about that. Yes. The what? The UNICEF? Excellent. So she's thinking, after reading this article, that UNICEF has been helping, and that it's helping other countries build schools and help girls go to school. And let me see, one more friend to share. Muriel. Okay, so she agrees. She thinks that they're helping them read better and to learn more. And they would not be able to do that if UNICEF wasn't there building schools and helping send girls to school. So that is excellent. I liked your conversations. That was how we read. And when you read, don't just keep reading over the words. You have to kind of stop sometimes. Like, Travion, I know I get lost in stories if I'm tired or if it's boring. So I have to stop and underline and circle things and make little notes to help me understand and connect with my life. Because I know whenever I said, what if girls in this class weren't to school? I heard a lot of gasps, and they're like, so it kind of helps you understand, hey, this could have been me. So we need programs like UNICEF. And we wouldn't understand that if we didn't understand the text. So very good job. And I think you can take your pencils. If you want to take the article back to your seats, you can. I'm going to give you a few seconds to get back to your chairs. Whenever I say go, go. If you don't want to, you can leave it on the clipboard. That will be fine. Just you can leave it on the board. Oh, that was a quick one.
Allow me. Please put your pencils down.